Power outages, smoke and chaos on Johannesburg's M1 highway this morning after an underground blaze. Violent protests and police brutality at some US universities over the Gaza war. Money taken and passengers dumped on the streets for 4 days with nowhere to go by a local bus company. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton. Good to have you with us.
This is Eyewitness News.
But first, this. Former ANC President Jacob Zuma has been summoned to appear before the party's disciplinary committee next Tuesday. ANC national spokesperson Mahlengi Bengu Mutsiri has confirmed to Eyewitness News that Zuma has been served with a notice through proper channels. Zuma was suspended by the ANC in January after he announced he would be campaigning and voting for the newly formed Umkhonto weSizwe party. Power outages in parts of Johannesburg are likely to last until next week. That's after underground fires due to cable theft and vandalism of the underground infrastructure. This morning, the M1 highway near the Johannesburg city centre was once again covered with smoke. The route was reopened to traffic last night after the blaze was extinguished in the underground tunnels.
We can now confirm to our residents that the fire has been contained. Right now, we are doing what we call damping down, extinguishing the hotspots. As you can see behind me, the fire has been contained. We are extinguishing the hotspots. And from there, we will check along the tunnel whether it will be safer for our colleagues from City Power to start conducting their assessment. We can also confirm that there were no injuries or fatalities which were reported during this fire incident. We continue to plead with our residents to report any vandalism or tampering of the city's infrastructure so that we can be able to prevent fire incidents like this one. Thank you.
In the morning, what we'll be doing is to clear up the rubble in the tunnel, obviously after ensuring that the area has cooled off, because during the day it was sitting around 200 degrees Celsius in terms of heat, and so we may not be able to gain or to go inside with that kind of a heat. So immediately when it cools off, we'll be able to basically check in the morning to determine and to basically start clearing up the rubble, accessing the cables, and ensuring that we assess the extent of that damage.
In the Western Cape, a fire at Skeleton Gorge in the Table Mountain National Park has largely been contained. Officials from the park said the light rain and mist over the past few days had helped contain the fire's spread.
Therefore, we ask hikers to be very vigilant and move to safe areas if they see or smell smoke while hiking. The priority remains the safety of residents, hikers, and our firefighters.
The fire started by a lightning strike on Sunday and burned approximately 283 hectares of veld. The Gaza war is playing out violently at some US universities. Police tore down a protest encampment at the University of Texas on Wednesday. There were violent clashes when counter-protesters attacked an encampment of pro-Palestinian students at the University of California in Los Angeles and also in New York. A medical student offering treatment to detainees as they were released described a litany of injuries.
They've been brutalized by the Zionists like we saw last night. They've been brutalized by police brutality. And for them to be so brave against all of that, it's so heartening.
I don't think they're asking anything that the university shouldn't be able to do. And to ask them to leave, it just reminds me of back in the 60s and 70s, you know?
I wish that the university would just listen to their students and at least have a dialogue with them to understand why we're out here and to try to reach a resolution.
The protests have hit colleges in the UK too. Students there have begun a new wave of protests after the violence seen during the police crackdown in the United States. More than 60 passengers who were meant to be on their way to Zimbabwe have been left stranded at the offices of a bus company in Bellville in Cape Town. The passengers say they've been sleeping outside the offices since Sunday after the bus they were travelling in broke down in Worcester 4 days ago and claim the bus company is refusing to issue them with refunds. 2 adults and 1 child have already been admitted to hospital for medical conditions after sleeping outside. There's no water and toilet facilities, and many haven't eaten for days, while children are getting help from strangers passing by.
We are here because we want to go home. We have paid to go home. We have got our tickets. We've got our luggage tickets with us, but the bus broke down on Sunday.
We put children, old people, sick people here. A lot of people are getting sick here now.
We are still living there. The conditions here is not comfortable for us because there are some women with children and also there are sick people, sickest people in this room.
The passengers say they paid 1,500 Rand for a ticket and an additional 2,700 for luggage. The bus company, Chiwa Tours, say they are trying to fix the situation. The 5 men accused of being involved in the murder of rapper Kiernan, aka Forbes, and his friend, celebrity chef Tebela Motswane, were back in court this morning. The pair were shot and killed on Durban's popular Florida Road last year.
The murder case of rapper Kiernan Forbes and celebrity chef Tebela Motswane has now been rolled over for tomorrow, where the state is set to reply to the arguments made by the defense lawyers in court today. Today, defense lawyers in this high-profile murder case presented their arguments in court on why should the accused be granted bail. However, the state still maintains its stance that it is opposed to bail. The proceedings will continue tomorrow morning. Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
Minister Pravin Gordhan says the country's biggest state entities have lost billions due to corruption and bribery in the past 5 years. Gordhan was responding to a written question in Parliament about Eskom, South African Airways and Transnet and how much corruption has cost the entities. But Gordhan says they've managed to recover some of the money lost at the likes of Transnet, totaling 1.6 billion Rand. Transnet seems to have suffered the most losses at 2.1 billion. Eskom's losses stand at 203 million. And since 2019, South African Airways have lost a total of 23 million due to corruption, fraud and bribery. A total of 17 million has been recovered. And looking forward to a collaboration between Prime Media and Mzansi Ballet coming to Joburg next weekend. The beautiful, the gold rhino of Mapungubwe. And we'll leave you with some of those images.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.